Welcome to the Life Illuminated podcast. I'm Maggie Kelly, your host, and today I have the honor of welcoming Margot Thornton to the show. Margot is a holistic fertility coach, and I am super excited to hear a lot more about what that means, what it encompasses, and all of those wonderful things that Margot has to share with us. So please welcome Margot to the show.
Thank you so much, Maggie. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about your story, how you got involved in this holistic fertility domain and what
Mhm.
brings you where you are today.
Sure. So, let's see. Many years ago, I started delving into more holistic and alternative therapies and approaches just out of curiosity, really. And I started with yoga over 20 years ago, got certified as a yoga instructor, and then that led me to exploring other modalities. And I discovered coaching. What is coaching, life coaching, and all this. So that really excited me because I really had a passion about helping people, but I didn't know how. So I like the yoga. I like trying to help people with their wellness overall. And then the coaching piece just gave me a little more tool set in my toolbox to help people. So I got my certification there. And then I discovered energy medicine. I studied with Donna Eden, who's a pioneer in the field of energy medicine. And her system really dives deep into the chakra system from yoga, acupressure, from Chinese medicine, and 9 systems in total, but just overall. So I had all these various tools and certifications and um, a willingness to help people, but I didn't know at the time what to specialize in until back in, I think it was 2016 or so. I was working with a client of mine that came to me and she wanted to get pregnant. And I thought, well, geez, I have all of these tools. I could help her. I just needed to know the problem that I could help with. So I worked with her, and she ended up going through IVF treatments. And then she came to me, and her first treatment failed, and she was just devastated. And she worked with me. I remember we did chakra work specifically. And through that work, she had another round of IVF, and that was her last round, and it was successful. And she really attributes working, with me, allowing herself to feel calm and confident and go into that next treatment cycle there was a shift in her. And that really sparked something in me. I thought, wow, there's something to this. I'd love to help more women like this. And at the time, oh, go on.
Can I ask you, so you said specifically you worked with her with chakra healing. Can you help
Yes.
our audience understand what that looks like?
Oh, yes. So, high level chakras are energy centers in the body along the spine, and there's many different ways to work with them. Even yoga poses can work with them, but from an energetic standpoint, I teach my clients to just use their hands. So our hands have electromagnetic energy, and we can influence the flow of blood and energy um, with our hands. So just like acupuncture uses needles, we can use our hands over certain points. So acupressure is separate, but I'm just using the analogy of just using the hands and how our hands can influence things. Like your phone, you swipe the phone and it only works if you use your skin, that electromagnetic energy that we have. So anyway, so working with the chakras specifically and clearing them and harmonizing them and balancing them is one way to work with them. And so that's one of the things I did with that client.
So when you're working with chakra balancing, just for the sake of those listening, can you describe the chakra system and sort of what you encountered with this particular client?
Sure. So the seven, actually there's more than seven, but the seven main ones are well known along the spine, starting at the crown and all the way to the perineum. And each center has a specific area that it governs, including uh, organs and energies in that area. But even more so, it's really like a library of life experiences. So each chakra has with it whatever memories or imprints that we have throughout our life, even before we're born, really, in the womb, even all the way up to where we are today. And so it's important to kind of do daily or spring cleaning, if you will, to keep it clear, so things don't get stuck that don't serve us. But then also specifically working with um, people trying to get pregnant, I find that the heart and the womb chakra, and in fact, the connection between those have to be really strong and cohesive um, for uh, new life to be created. So specifically working on those areas is really beneficial. And you can
Yeah,
even do that, yeah, simply with your hands, even just placing a hand over your heart in your womb and taking several deep breaths and being present.
right. Because in anything, when our energy centers are blocked, it's important that, that Shirodara is clear and we're able to move the energy along the Shirodara, which is the energy center along the spine, and have it be clear enough for receptive, contraception or uh, reproduction, depending, right? So that particular client was sort of the impetus for your basically everything you're doing now. Is that right?
Yes, and then that even got deeper when I was wanting to start a family. So I had that experience with that client. I thought, ooh, I want to pursue that. So I really focused and fine-tuned all my teachings and certifications and training to support clients. And then all of a sudden, I tried to get pregnant and I didn't have much luck. And I thought, okay, well, I was a little older, approaching 40. You know, maybe that has something to do with it. So I went to the doctor, went to the specialist, everything checked out fine. Of course, they gave me the advanced maternal age statement that so many women hear, and it's really kind of defeating. So I totally that just it's hard. It's hard. It's like, well, what can I do about it? Doctors say IVF or nothing, and um, I believe in Western medicine and support all that, but just for me, that just didn't feel right. I thought, no, I have all these tools. Let me apply them in a systematic way so that I can, work on myself. And it took some time, but after 3 years, at the age of 40, I was able to conceive and then give birth to my healthy baby girl. So I really believe that there are a lot of things that we can do to help our health and our fertility.
And so, what other things do you suggest for someone who's having difficulty in getting pregnant? What other ways do you help women conceive?
Yeah. So of course, no one can truly, I'm not, I don't like to say healer or whatnot. Oh, everybody themselves has the power to heal themselves. So I like to educate and empower people to then tap into what's truly within them and just help them get out of their own way, clear patterns that are stuck. For instance, one of the patterns that I know I had and a lot of women have is they're stuck in fight or flight mode, in the sympathetic nervous system. Society and life these days is so fast, and we really don't always have the tools to slow down, to really shift into that rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system, which is actually required for our bodies to reproduce. Our signals, our hormones won't go to the body to reproduce if we're stuck in this chronic fight or flight. So that's it's really a key pillar of my coaching, that we work on balancing and regulating the nervous system so that your body can then do what it naturally knows what to do.
And so, in what ways do you help a client do that, regulate
Yeah.
themselves and settle down?
So there's a number of tools that I teach my clients, including things that I know you're a big fan of, right? Meditation, mindfulness, breath work, yoga, and also energy practices, simple tapping on the body and various energy medicine techniques that help really just balance the overall energy systems, get the body uh, regulated and well balanced so that the body then knows what to do, and really going through regular practices, building, making small changes consistently over time can really have a profound impact.
Yes. And so when you're talking about those modalities beyond yoga and chakra balancing and meditation and mindfulness, what other modalities do you teach?
Also, specific acupressure points. So a little bit of the Chinese, the 5 element theory from Chinese medicine, and then specific acupressure points for boosting fertility and just teaching clients to hold specific points like on their body or massage points or whatnot.
Yeah. So give us an example of some of those points, just so our listeners can be informed, because I'm pretty intrigued.
Yeah. So even right now, I was just showing a common point that's not necessarily for fertility, but it could be. So I know the listeners may be trying to get pregnant or may not be. But the point between the web of the thumb and the finger here is actually, if you have a headache, it's actually really good to massage that point, and it is on the large intestine meridian. There's energy pathways in the body. Just like our blood follows the arteries and the veins, these meridians follow specific energy pathways. And there's points all along, and there's 14 different meridians, but we don't need to get into all of that. So anyway, that's one that's common that I think can be applicable to anybody if they're experiencing a headache or something like that. That can be really helpful. Another point that is really good to do for in general, but also for fertility. So to be grounded, really to be in our bodies, to be present, as you know, that's important for to help with everyday life, but specifically for fertility. So in Chinese medicine, the stomach meridian actually starts below the eyes, and there's a point just on the cheekbones that you can lightly tap, and that helps to ground your energy. But also the stomach meridian actually passes through the ovaries in women, so not only does it help ground, but then you're supporting the ovaries. So that's a good one for both the nervous system grounding, but also the ovaries, so good for fertility too.
Yeah. So, are there so other than this spot right here below our eyes to tap on, to be able to ground us, um, or beyond beyond that for fertility, is there a different spot
Right.
on the body? Is there a different meridian? I know
Oh,
you mentioned
yeah.
the heart and the perineum, or the root chakra and the heart chakra, to those listening. Those are two very important centers to keep clear.
Right. Well, in the womb chakra specifically for fertility, the second chakra and the heart chakra, holding those. Yeah, grounding is the root chakra too, though.
Yeah.
But even just an exercise for grounding is even just simply holding your heart with one hand, and even just placing your hand. There's so many different ways you can do on the top of your head. Yeah, there's the crown chakra and the heart chakra, but just physically, even taking a few breaths and holding these points can really help ground, at least it helps ground me. I feel more grounded. But being outside, that's another thing, just outside barefoot, ideally, that helps, because our bodies overall have electrical energy as well. And so being out in nature can really help ground your energy as well. I feel like there was another part of your question, but yeah,
Other
there's
other spots, other meridians.
points.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so generally with fertility, working with the kidney, spleen, and liver are very common. Those are uh, meridians that help to not only help with fertility, but also sustaining a healthy pregnancy. So those are really important to be strong. And there's different techniques of holding various poses to help with those. I'm trying to think one that I can easily show. Maybe I can't show, but I can describe on the foot. So a lot of the beginning and end points of the meridians are on our hands and our feet. And there's a point right behind your ankle bone that's on the kidney meridian, and even just massaging that on the inside of the ankle is helpful for boosting the kidney energy. We also, again, being out in nature barefoot, as women specifically, we get our energy from the earth, and then we also discharge our energy into the earth. So really having that connection with the earth, Mother Earth, and the ground is really important as well. And I usually have diagrams and things I show my clients, so it's very clear and specific when we're working with things like that.
Yeah. And so, what other things can you enlighten us with?
Yeah, there's so many little juicy tidbits. So generally, when I'm working with somebody, I have a systematic plan and a framework that we go through. So here I'm just throwing out little teasers and little things that people can start even doing today. But overall, we look, really, it's a holistic approach. So not only at using these different modalities, which are so powerful, but also we take a look at their diet, at their lifestyle, the basic things you hear, but they're really important. And sleep being one that's often overrated. So many people don't prioritize sleep, and it's so crucial, especially for women, and balancing their hormones. So practicing getting a nighttime routine. I have actually an app that I recorded some meditations when I taught yoga regularly before the pandemic and everything. My students would always say I had a calming voice for meditation. So they encouraged me, so I recorded myself. So I offer my clients audio, meditations specifically for fertility, also incorporating some sound healing, some frequencies that are good for fertility as well. I love like tuning forks that can really affect our vibration as well. Lots of
Yes.
tools.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah, I teach mantra meditation, and it's all about the sound and vibration of a mantra. And very, very powerful, very powerful. Chanting
Definitely.
like that as well.
Oh
So
yeah.
what, tell me or tell us your best advice for how to live a life illuminated.
Yeah, so I think it comes back to really being present and grounded, that when we are in the moment, living in the moment, that we really have full access to choice, and we can approach life and not react to it. If we're present and grounded, we can respond. And I think that is really the start to be able to create the life that we want, and uh, take charge of our health, and empower ourselves to pursue our dreams, and also create connection with others. We're in that present grounded state.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's difficult, as like you said, just with society the way it is, and our lives moving at warp speed, and technological development and cultivation is far, far ahead of our spiritual development and cultivation. And it's super important for all of us to just stop and be mindful long enough to just notice. I mean, literally just notice. That's all we have to learn how to do, is just stop and notice. And yeah, it's easy to say, not easy to practice. But yeah. So how can our listeners find you, Margot?
Yeah, so I have a social media, Facebook and Instagram, Margo Thornton Coach. And also I have a YouTube channel, Pathway to Pregnancy, and they can check out, I have several educational videos where I teach more specific things that they might find interesting. And of course, you could email me, margo@pathwaytopregnancy.com, with any questions, and I'm happy to help.
Oh, that's perfect. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope to have you back again.
Wonderful.
Thanks
Thank you
so
so much for having me.
Yeah, and thank you.